All right, what the crap is going on, YouTube? So we're back again today, and today we are going to be talking about variables and comments. All right, so much like your normal algebra, um, where like variable x represents a number, we also have variables inside of Java which allow us to assign values to these variables and use them in different equations. Um, use them for different methods and things like that. So we're going to go over the primitive types of variables today, and we're also going to discuss comments because I'll be using comments during this. So to start off, a comment's very simple. You can use double slash, right? And that lets Java know that whatever you type in after this is going to not be code. It's just going to be ignored by the Java compiler. And so you can leave yourself notes, leave other developers notes, things like that. So that way, when people come in, they can see the comments, and without having to try to read through the code and discern what it does, they can just look at the comment. It'll tell them. And this is really important that you get in to the habit of documenting all of your different methods and codes and things like that. Just for the simple fact, even if you aren't working in like a group or something, if it's an individual project, because later on down the road you go back to look at some of your old coding, and your practices and stuff like that might have changed how you approach problems, and you don't really know what you're looking at anymore. So comments are always good to put into your code. So you can either do them with the double slash like this, right? And then we'll type in this is a comment. You can see how it's grayed out. There's no errors, anything like that. It'll be ignored. Now, the other way to do it, I don't do it this way very often, so bear with me, but it's with a slash and a star, and this is a multi-line comment. So you can go like that, and you can see how it already popped up with the star and the dash afterwards. And what that says is everything between these two is a comment, right? So you can say this is a comment. This is also a comment. And the main difference between the double slash and the star slash is the fact that the double slash is only for that one individual line. So where we come here, or we'll just come up here since I already have it written out, where this is a comment, but then I go ahead and I hit that. Well, once I start typing in, you can see it's popping up in white, and this is not a comment. You can already see how it's color coded and showing up with errors, and that's because that double slash only applies to that single line of code. So the reason why I usually still use just pure double slashes regardless of how long the code is because I will type out the entire comment. This is a comment, and it is part of my Java tutorial, right? And we can see how all that is. Well, I'll just highlight it all, right? And this is a cool thing with IntelliJ. And then I'll hit Control / and then it just instantly comments out all the lines. And it's a really quick way to do it. I enjoy doing it that way. I'm sure that you guys will too. If it's part of the IDE shortcuts, it just makes sense to use. So anyways, moving on with that, we are going to actually do a multi-line comment because I don't know how many lines we're going to go, but we're going to go over these different data types. So with the primitive types, right now we are going to cover our whole number primitive types. So we've got byte, we've got short, we've got int, and we have long. Now what do these mean, right? Basically, these are 4 different reference codes, or 4 different keywords, right, that lets Java know what type of data we're putting in, right? So these are all for whole numbers, But the reason why there's 4 different ones is because they all actually allow different pools of numbers, right? So a byte allows a number range from negative 128 to 127. And it's really small. This one actually only takes up 1 bit of memory, right? So this was way more important back in the day with smaller amounts of memory. It still is important to manage your memory well, but it's not game breaking like it used to be. So anyways, short, right? Short is bigger than a byte, and it's our next step up, but it is negative 32,768, right? So 32,768 to 32,767. And this is 2 bits of memory, and which is going to be the one you're using the most out of all of these. This is quite a bit larger than a short. So this value holds all the way from 2,147,483,000 and 648, all the way to 2,147,483,647. And this takes up 4 bits of memory. This is what you're going to auto default to most of the time. But if for some reason you need an even larger one, right, that's when the long comes in. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce what this number is, right? I've got it written out in front of me over to the left just because it's a lot to try to just remember off the top of your head. But you can take a crack at it. But anyways, it looks like this. Which is, I think that's in the quadrillions. I don't know. All the way to the positive version, basically. 223, 372, 036, 54, 77, 07. And this takes up 8 bits of memory. Okay, so the way that we would initialize these, right, is if we come down here, right, and we go int x equals 500, right, and that assigns this value over here to x. Okay, so we can see if we come out here and why didn't that okay. Oh, because I'm not, sorry, I didn't realize I'd been typing outside of the main method. Let's come up here and we will go int x equals 500. Yeah, whenever you're trying to execute code, make sure that you are actually typing it within the method. I got so wrapped up into the just talking about ints and stuff like that, I didn't actually make sure. But regardless, we're going to print out this now. You'll notice instead of using double quotes, since I'm not trying to print out a phrase, I'm trying to print the actual variable. I use no double quotes, and I just put the name of the variable, which is x. Right? And we are going to run this. You will notice, well, once it's done compiling, there it is right there. Just printed out 500. I don't know why it was so slow right there, but maybe it's just because it's the first one of the day. So also, we can come down here, and now that we declared x as an int, right, we no longer have to reuse the word int. to change x. So if we change x to 600, and then we're going to print it out again, you can see we've got 500, then we changed it to 600, and it printed out 600. Now you can start getting bigger into these. You can come down here and go x equals 100 star 5. And star is how we do multiplication in Java, right? And if we do that, we're going to print out x again. By the way, to auto run the program with a shortcut for IntelliJ is Control-Shift F10. But now you can see it's back to 500. We did 100 times 5. Now this is really useful once we start getting into more complicated stuff. But for right now, these are the whole numbers, and then we will be coming back to talk about floating numbers, which are numbers with decimal points for our next variables. So anyways, this video is getting a little bit long, so I'm going to cut it off here. And I will catch y'all in the next video.